gotta feed the streets. My pistol gon' bleed the streets. Ski mask on my face. Sometimes you gotta cheat to stay ahead in this picture. Drink surf like it's liquor. Street life I have you catching up to God quicker. Sticker, AK-40 to your lipper. Let the chopper bang on you like a blood or a cripper. Flipper, so much bread, I'm a gymnast. Made so much money off of dummies, off of dummies.
Yeah, gang, gang. I'm Mr. Body Catcher, Slaughter Gang Soul Snatcher. Ain't no regular F-150, this a fucking rapper. No capper, street nigga, not a rapper. Chopper hit him and he turned into a booty clapper. Smith & Wesson, I'm 4L gang reppin'. We done baptized more niggas than a damn reverend. Kappa Alpha, me and my gang, we do all the steppin'. Who you checkin'? It's FN, shoot east or west end.
I heard Poppy outside, and he got the double R, drop it outside. Check the weather and it's getting real, I'll be outside. I'ma drop this shit and have these pussies dropping like some motherfucking type of nigga that can't look me in the eyes. I despise when I see you, better put that fucking pride to the side. Many times, plenty times, I survive, beef is live. Spoiler alert, this nigga dies.
Keep blickies, and you know the weed sticky. My finger itchy, the Glock like to leave hickeys. Your shooter's iffy, a street punk can never diss me. I come straight up out the six and we don't spell sissies.
I fuck with her, and fuck with her, and her. I hit up her, tell him do the for sure. Voodoo curse, it got him while I flew the Turks. Know the dogs had to hit him where we knew it hurts.
Nice scooter, bro. I have to sleep still, sorry, bro. First ride of the day. I like to get out in the morning early, guys, put on miles. I put on a lot of miles the last few weeks, like 4 rides a day on average. I'm living the dream. This is not me complaining at all. I just, sometimes in the first ride in the morning, I'm a little sleepy. Before my coffee kicks in, you know? The morning rides always feel the best, and it's the coolest. Let's be honest, I've had a lot of overheating problems on this scooter. Every time I ride it in hotter weather, it overheats quicker too. So I am out here, we're at 196 miles. We're gonna crank out the 200-mile review on this Nanrobot N6 right now. Ride it 4 more miles and then I'll talk to you guys in a minute. It does hit 41, 42, 43 on full battery on the dash. And it's not a top speed issue for me on this scooter at all. It's an acceleration issue. And then it only has a 52 volt battery, and that limits the amount of watts it can push. And it really limits this scooter's acceleration to more of like a 4-cylinder car, right? It's very weak when you stomp on a 4-cylinder, right? You're not gonna get a lot of oomph. You're talking maybe 2,500 watts on this is what it feels like to me. It's significantly slower than the V-Set, probably half as much power as the V-Set. And that's just due to the cells they're using, the controllers they're using, the programming they're using, the throttle they're using, everything all put together. It just makes this scooter very slow when you combine it with the fact that it's built like a tank. It's like a 100-pound scooter, right? And it's only 52 volts. So that really leaves a lot to be desired, to where if they made this a 60-volt model, it may contend. But right now, this is very, very hard to recommend this scooter. Even just based on the speed and the acceleration, it's underwhelming, right? And then you get into the quality of this, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And it's just, Nanrobot needs to do better. I think that they spend way too much time putting all these logos on every single component has logos, and then they end up with a scooter that's not well designed because they spent too much time on branding, right? It's really bouncy over everything because it's not hydraulic shocks. You guys kind of cheap out on something simple like a hydraulic shock that's a couple $1 upgrade on your end. We know that. We know you're in China. You can get these shocks in there, better shocks easily, but instead of improving the scooter, it seems like you improve the logos. which to me is not really acceptable. A scooter these days, it needs to be competitive technologically. It needs to have equal power and speed to its competitors for the same price, or why would anybody ever buy this scooter, right? Just for the lights? The lights aren't even that good on this. They are better than most scooters as far as flashy lights, but anybody can add their own flashy light setup. We already know how to add LED strips and stuff and make scooters look insanely cool. Oh yeah, they had the skills test today. Get it, boys. He almost wrecked. Be careful. That shit's dangerous. I'll have to watch Jimmy and Andrew's review on this. I know they reviewed this thing like 2 months ago, and I honestly didn't even watch too much of it, but I saw the scooter and it was beautiful and I wanted to try it. I thought it was a great looking scooter, and if it was high quality, maybe it could sell well. I don't know if they ever mentioned these facts to you guys about it being very underpowered, the braking's not the best, and the overheating problem to me is the biggest issue, where every time I ride this scooter for about 45 minutes, and after about 12 to 14 miles, it will start overheating and throttle the amount of power that it gives me. And I've got it on camera several times now. Safe to say this, I don't feel any sort of like worry that it's just a fluke, right? This has happened to me almost every single ride I've taken it on, where it will overheat after a while and throttle the power on me. And that to me is unacceptable on a scooter, because every other scooter in my garage doesn't do that. So why would that be acceptable for this scooter to do that and just sort of lose its ability to perform after a certain amount of time while it still has plenty of battery, right? And it comes down to, once again, being underpowered. When you have too much weight and underpowered, you're going to be stressing the system out and it's going to overheat quick. So Nanrobot, you need to go back to the drawing board on this. I'm sorry, but it needs to be improved massively. It's just so different from the V-set hydraulic shocks that are good, which just silently go over the bumps. They only balance once and then the tire's back on the road, right? It's just significantly better than this Nanrobot could ever be with this setup. It needs hydro shocks, it needs 60 volts to be able to even push enough power to make this contender, right? Aside from some other flaws that we can talk about, there's just not a lot I like about the scooter, to be honest with you guys. Besides, like, the fighter jet style of it. Like, it looks like a jet crossed with a tank, and it drives like a tank, right? It's super slow, not agile, clunky. It's like a tank of a scooter, but I don't know. It's hard for me to recommend something like this, when for a slight bit more money, you can literally buy a V-set that won't let guys crush you up hills. If you're buying a fast scooter, you want it to be fast, right? And have plenty of power, not be underpowered, still let people leave you in the dust like this Camry. Like, what are you, it's not fast enough, dudes. I hope that they come out with a 60 volt version of this and send it to me with a better screen maybe and better handlebars. I don't know, this thing just needs a much more refined approach, needs many upgrades to make it decent, you know? And it's not fair to put all that on the consumer and be like, hey, you need to upgrade the shocks yourself if you want hydraulic shocks. Hydraulic shocks should be standard now on this type of scooter. Should be standard completely, because other brands have it now. Cabo Mantis King DG, right? All hydraulic. V-set 10 Plus, hydraulic, right? Where is the hydraulic on this? It is just too bouncy for me. Get a little running start up to the steep part, but you can already tell, like, struggling. Maximum struggle on this. 2019, it's slowing down. 18, 17, 16, 15. It's just really slow right there. Incredibly slow right there. For how big the scooter is, it just needs more. Downhill brake test. It's not strong braking at all, and part of that I think is because it's 140 millimeter disc, and you can tell that the pads are not making full contact with the rotor, so it's definitely not even getting its full stopping power with how the washers and everything is on here right now and the spacing. Part of the problem the scooter is the braking is also insufficient. It doesn't have a lot of e-brake, I guess. Maybe I don't know. It's just not strong. It's good off-roading if you got smooth off-road paths, but This would suck to go on anything bumpy off-road long range. Be incredibly jarring. The main thing that the scooter even has going for it is lights. Other than that, man, it's tough. Nanrobot, I'm sorry, bro. You got plenty of work to improve this. Alright guys, welcome to the Nanrobot N6 review. It's our review on Freshly Charged with Jimmy Chang and Andrew. I didn't watch a lot of it. All I did notice was how sexy the scooter was, so I had to get one and try it myself. I hope they didn't tell you it was great, because it's not. In fact, it's probably the worst scooter in my garage for a lot of reasons. But we'll go over that now, starting at the top and go to the bottom. Too narrow of handlebars on this. It gives it a really funky ride when you're riding it, because it's very tall also and then narrow, and it's just weird. When you look at the Nanrobot, you see a lot of basic components. These are cheap components available on a lot of rebranded scooters, right? These are like $2 parts here, this, and it would be nice to see them design more integrated parts similar to this throttle. They at least have a throttle here that is custom to their scooter. The thing about this scooter is it has a very weird setup where you can turn it off completely, right? And the lights still work, right? The lights are still on. So that's weird to me that, like, you can take the key out completely, right? And still the lights are going. Definitely a possible way to drain your battery if you're dumb and you leave your lights on. So be watchful of that. The screen on this they sent me is underwhelming. You will take a look at it right here. It's just black and white. I see these on a lot of e-bikes and other things too when we pass them out here. It's just a standard screen. It's off of a lot of other things, so nothing special there. Ignore this bell and this phone mount. That is mine. Nothing to do with the scooter. The brakes on this scooter are decent. I've seen similar brakes to this on my Yumi Y10 where they have a little knob right here you can tighten it with. That's about the only good thing about them, because they're not very strong and they're not really set up correctly with the rotor to make full contact, so it's just not the best braking experience. On the left here we have the lights. That's going to control the bottom LEDs, meaning your headlight, which is weird to me because this is the highest it can go up, right? So it's pretty much worthless because it only shines like a foot in front of you. It's not a good headlight at all. This light beam thing is okay, but when you're going to put your bag here, it's going to cover it up, so that's not totally worth a lot to me. And I put these bags on every scooter with it. I ride a lot. It's a necessity. So they didn't think that through with the bags. It's just a hodgepodge of buttons and parts that are available on AliExpress that they put on the scooter. The grips might be decent, right? Decent at best. The whole scooter is cheap, put it that way. And there's this sort of plastic thing here around the stem, and see if it can't. It sort of was like creaking for a long time when I got the scooter. I don't know if it's like the plastic seams in here, right? When you can literally just go like this, right? And see inside that. So like none of this is sealed up. I don't know what the point of this is, if it's just for the light or if it's for routing the cables through, but it's plastic and it's cheap feeling and I don't like it at all. The folding mechanism on this I don't like at all either. It tends to come unscrewed a little bit while you're riding, which is nuts because there's no other safety feature at all on this. It literally just unscrews and then it's not even working right now. Oh my god, this thing's broken. It won't even unscrew right now. What the fuck's going on with this? Oh, I do not like the scooter at all, guys. It's unfortunate. Sometimes I get scooters in and I know beforehand that it's not the best brand. I knew Nanrobot was that way. It doesn't have the best reputation at all. It's a risk for me to get it in, have to ride it 200 miles, put all this time into it, just to tell you guys not to buy it, right? But that is what it is. That's part of my job of giving you the honest truth here. You know, a lot of other reviewers would just be like, oh, it's amazing. But no. Don't listen to other people about the scooter. It is not anywhere near a good scooter like a V-Set or a Cabo, okay? There's just better brands right now that are doing things correctly, and then there's other brands that are cheaping out and trying to catch you with flashy lights and a cool looking scooter, right? But that doesn't mean the scooter's good, trust me, at all. This scooter, in fact, is my least favorite scooter to ride in my whole garage out of like 15 scooters right now, and even out of slower scooters. I would rather ride slower scooters than to ride this thing because it's just not good. I think somebody new might get this and maybe enjoy it, but it is about like the technology of a 5-year-old scooter at this point. There's no hydraulic sort of dampening overheating. There's no hydraulic suspension, which is a deal breaker to me when everything else in the market now is coming out with hydraulics. You need to have hydraulics on newer scooters. Now, they do have their own throttle for this, but it's not mapped well. It's jerky. It is not smooth. It is not like the VSET throttle in any form or shape, right? It may look nice, but it's not nice at all. Coming down the stem here, talked about a lot of this that I don't like. The spring shocks, here they are for you, bright green, nice and green for you. Totally matches the rest of the scooter, totally. Anyways, the fenders might be the coolest thing on here, right? They're actually pretty decent. I think I'm supposed to pull this little sticker off here. See what we got. Oh, and there it comes. And half the letters came off. That's Nanrobot for you. Man, Nanrobot. What did you guys do here? What is this nonsense? Because every other brand comes with the logos already pre-installed, but I'm like the one doing the final installation here on this. Like, what is that? Okay, I think it's 1200 watt motors here, and yet we're running 52 volt system with relatively weak controllers, and it's just underpowered. It's not there in any shape or form. Nanrobot, I don't even need to go into any more details, honestly. I'm sorry that it didn't work out. I do not think I will be reviewing any more Nanrobots because of the quality of this is just not worth my time. And I can only review so many scooters at a time in a year. And I'm sorry, Nanrobot. Maybe next year you'll have a better one, but not this year. Goodbye, Nanrobot. Thanks for watching, guys. Scooter Gang out. Luckily for me, I can just turn up the music in my helmet and not have to listen to all the bounces. You still feel them, and it's still annoying knowing that I'm on this, but luckily for me, I can just get rid of this scooter and move on with my life. But you guys, you buy a scooter like this, I get it, you're stuck with it. So you got to be very careful with what you buy these days, guys, because they'll get you on something like this where it's real flashy and cool looking, right? But then you ride it with your friend sometime and with this VSET, and you'll know you fucked up. You'll know you bought the wrong scooter. The bounce is even worse on corners and stuff. When you lose your traction on corners, it's the sketchiest and most important to have hydraulics. All that bouncing. It's like skip. The tire just skip. It scares the squirrel away when it skips even. It's so loud. What are you gonna do? Dude really stopped the scooter with his tongue. The bouncing's so loud it like makes other people look at you. Because they hear that skipping of the tire.